there's a little bit of a story and a background to what we're going to talk about today. And I gave a presentation at a live event last week. So I'm the keynote speaker, nationwide tour for a specific mortgage company. They brought me in to train their mortgage professionals on growing their businesses. And what we're focusing on in those presentations are the fundamentals of growing a mortgage business, because now is the time to be back to fundamentals and focusing on where the easiest to get deals are that have basically the highest quality. And so the basic premise of the presentation is, number one, you need to be calling your database. And then I show them what you need is calls. Like, most people are just emailing their database and thinking that emails cut it, and they are missing more than half of the referrals that they could be getting from their database if they were to just pick up the phone and call and text. If you call and text your database, there's basically a 3/4 lift in the amount of conversations that you have. The more conversations that you have, the more referrals you generate. The more referrals you generate, obviously, those are the highest quality deals that you can get. And when you call your past customers and you use the script, that also generates 5-star ratings and reviews on your Google profile. Your Google profile then goes into our local artificial intelligence SEO program. We boost you up on the front page, and those ratings and reviews that you've got from calling your past customer database produce far more referrals from your past customer database. So the first leg of the 3-legged stool is the database. So that's what we teach at the very beginning. Then there's only 3 ways to grow the business. You've got past customers and centers of influence, your Dream 100, that sort of thing. The second is referral partners, realtors, financial planners, investment advisors, all of that. There are 2 strategies that I teach within the presentation that we talk about. And the first is what we spoke about on last week's mastermind call. And that is, at the onset of every deal that you do, you should be asking every single applicant that you get in your mortgage business for all of the professionals that they're working with. Who's your realtor or your builder? Who's your banker? Who's your insurance professional? Who's your tax planner? Who's your accountant? Who's your attorney, right? There are a couple of other ones that you want to get in there, but basically that gives you a list of all of the professional referral partners or referral relationships that you can leverage, because that sheet, some clients will fill out all of them, but most, they'll have some of those professionals, but they won't have relationships with others. If they already have a relationship, you get to call that referral partner and open up an appointment and a meeting with that referral partner by leveraging, hey, we have a mutual client together. They said some amazing things about you. I'm setting up an inner circle in my local marketplace where we can all send referrals back and forth. I'd love to get to meet you and spend 15 minutes together. So your client, who is, I should say applicant, because who knows, you might not close that deal, but you still get the referrals if they're an applicant. So they come in as an applicant, you get all of that contact information for their professionals, you reach out, you book appointments with those professionals, you generate new referral partners. Well, anybody that they don't have on the list, that's now a professional that you have a relationship that you get to insert into that relationship. So your client comes in, they submit an application, and they don't fill out that they have a wealth manager or an insurance professional. Well, all of a sudden you can say, hey, if you want a fully rounded wealth management team in order to make sure that this home purchase actually becomes part of a large scale wealth plan, well, we need to introduce you to our wealth planner and our insurance professional because they're amazing. What did you just do? You just generated a referral for an insurance professional and for a wealth manager. So any existing relationships that you have, you are sending quality referrals to those people, and you get to leverage that in your relationship. So that inbound, every application that you take, getting all of the professionals, very important. Now, the next thing that I teach is the 40x4. And this is getting a list of qualified realtors in your local marketplace. And it doesn't necessarily have to be realtors. It can be realtors, financial planners, investment advisors, insurance professionals, you name it, you can call them and set up appointments with them. The reason why we focus on realtors in the 40x4 is because it's the easiest. Realtors actually pick up their phone. Accountants, lawyers, insurance professionals, most of them don't pick up their own phones. They have a gatekeeper. And so it's a whole lot harder to book those appointments. So we tend to focus on realtors. Plus, realtors do traditionally drive the majority of the transactions and referrals for us. And so I teach that as the second part. And then the third thing that I talk about is how to double the number of appointments that you generate from your leads. 3 ways to grow the business: past customers and centers of influence, referral partners, and then marketing and advertising is the third. And in there, I talk about having Connect My Leads so that every lead gets called within the first 5 minutes. And then there's a maximum of, or a minimum, I should say, of 6 quality touch points that are going out to those leads. And you've got automatic follow-up for at least 6 to 9 months for every new lead or every new referral that comes into the business. So I'm doing these presentations, going across the country. Everybody comes up to you at the back of the room after you do the presentation to ask questions, get help, sign up, that stuff. And I had a very, very senior person in the mortgage industry whom I respect significantly came up to me at the back and he said, Chris, that 40 by 4, man, it's too big. Most people in the audience, you're going to lose them when you talk about the 40 by 4, because most people aren't going to be able to conceptualize that in their business because it's too big. People can't conceptualize that math because he's been working in the industry 35, maybe 40 years. And he knows his market exceptionally well. And he said to me, and this is a Canadian circuit that I'm on, so keep that in mind, right? But he says the average mortgage professional has 4 referral relationships. He's like, if you really get down into their businesses, like even the ones that are doing really well, that are really successful with their income, they got 4 referral partners. They've got like 2 or 3 realtors and then like maybe a financial planner that sends them business. So he's like, you're talking about 40 and getting 40 in 1 year. Their brain shuts off. They just can't conceptualize how that works. And for me, I totally agree with the feedback 100%. And I was like, yes, absolutely. And I have modified my presentation as a result of that. But here in our inner circle, my true feedback for him was, you're absolutely right. I'm going to change my presentation, but damn it, pardon, I apologize. But if I've got an audience of 250 people in front of me and I can convince 10 of them to go do the 40 by 4, I've done my job, because it's the 1%. It is the 1% of our industry that will actually make the phone calls and do the appointments and do the grind that it takes to get to 40 partners. But here's the great news. It only takes 1 freaking year. You can, like, if the average is 4 and we go to 40, that is a multiple of 10x, I believe, right? No, it's way more than that. Anyways, not the math guy, right? Y'all are the math people. But think, going from just having 4 people sending you business to having 40 people send you business. I don't care what business you're in. That is a massive transformation of the number of deals that you're going to do every month. And it is regardless of market conditions, which seem to be turning around. Seems like spring and summer marketplaces has hit. I've heard from multiple clients that they're starting to see an uptick in listings and an uptick in purchase prices. So that is an aside. So everybody here in the mastermind, I wanted to run through the 40 by 4 with you very quickly, because math will set your mind free so that you can actually do the work. And I'll give you the punchline first. If you can do 1 appointment a day with a realtor for a year, okay, that's 1 appointment a day, 5 days a week, that's 20 appointments a month, okay? Let's do the math, okay? So if you do 20 appointments a month, and you times that by 12, that's 240 appointments in a year. So 240 appointments. Well, if you only accept 20%, so let's take that times 20%. If you only accept 20% of the realtors that you meet with, That's a grand total of 48 referral partners. Now, I say the 40 by 4 because I assume 8 of those relationships are going to fall off. It's realtors, right? Some of them are just not going to do business with you. So if you end up with 40 referral relationships, and we're going to say each of those referral relationships is going to send you 4 deals a year. That's one a quarter, one every 3 months. So you get one deal every 90 days from one of those 40 partners. That is 160 deals a year from a stable of 40 referral partners. So if you can stabilize at 40 referral partners, and they don't have to be huge hitters, like they only have to send you 4 deals a year, which is completely attainable with you not having to go out and close the juggernauts of the industry. You can do that with, middle of the road to middle top of the line realtors. But when you take what I said before and think about every application that you take in your business as an opportunity to reach out to a potential of 8 new referral partners, you don't have to be doing a ton of business to build a very impressive Rolodex in a very short period of time. Could also consider actually having a concierge agent or even an assistant or somebody on your team that's just reaching out and making those phone calls to those professionals every single day to fill your calendar with 1 appointment a day, right? In 1 year, that's 40 partners. 40 partners, 4 deals a year, 160 deals. Well, let's just say your average commission is $2,500, right? Well, if we're going to do 160 deals times $2,500, it's $400,000 in revenue in your organization. You don't have to spend a dime on advertising. All you're doing is networking and building relationships with people. And the amazing thing about this is once you get the system set up, which is the concierge getting a qualified list of referral partners. And again, you can do this on your own. I'm not trying to sell the concierge service or the executive program here. It's just like you can make these phone calls. It's just you have to make. So here's how the numbers actually break down on a concierge. They make on average between 120 to 150 phone calls a day. They speak to roughly 30 people per day, and they book on average about 4 to 5 appointments per day, right? So if you have somebody full-time booking appointments for you 5 days a week, that's 25 appointments a week. We only need we only need 5, right? We only need 1 appointment a day to hit the 40. So if you're making the phone calls yourself, you really only need to make 30 to 50 phone calls a day to get your 1 appointment. So you can stack your time, do your appointment in the afternoon, do your outbound dials in the morning, dedicate an hour and a half out of every single day to making those phone calls, and you can run the system yourself. You don't even need an assistant or a concierge. But what's important is that you deliver 1 sales presentation every single day, 5 days a week, every week of the year. That's your system. And that gets you to that 400,000, and it builds, because once you have the system and the discipline in place in your business, you're off to the races. You can go to 80 partners in 2 years. You can go to 120 partners in 3 years. You can scale a mortgage business very, very quickly on referrals based on just 1 simple appointment a day. So I wanted to share that with you and get a little bit of feedback, but really let you know that there's a lot of really complicated stuff that's being promoted in the industry right now. There's a lot of people trying to sell things in the mortgage industry right now, like TikTok ads and your social media, and you got to do videos and you got to do this and you got to do that. And there's all of this shiny object stuff. Spend an hour and a half every day on the phone. It's only worked forever. And it's incredibly simple to implement, and it's totally scalable if you put a concierge in place. So you can use this to build your own business, but you can also use it to build a team, and simple scales, complicated fails. You know what I mean? Getting into content and all of this other stuff is great, but you don't have to. And until you've mastered the basics, I don't think you should be going after the advanced stuff. So that's what I have for you today. I hope that serves you. And let's open it up for open Q&A today. How's everybody doing?